You know, when this journey first began, I did not know where it was going to lead me. Did you know that when you hear the different birds singing, especially at the onset of spring, it is the babies learning their species song? Pay attention and listen. It takes them about 2 weeks to master this melody. Imagine that. And I'm still trying to memorize Psalm 23. And I read that every day. Imagine. Welcome to another episode of A Dose of Nicki. Let's talk about hot water and the invaluable lessons it can teach us. See, water is something we often take for granted, but as you know, it's essential. I know, I talk about water and the benefits frequently because I truly appreciate it. I really do. So I'm not going to get into the weeds of the benefits. However, I will share with you a personal story that taught me how to allow my patience to take the lead and awareness to put me into action. See, all right. So one day I walked past the water heater and I noticed it was running nonstop. And that was odd. It really was. I hadn't heard that sound before. And we also started to notice that the showers were lukewarm. And now, that's not acceptable. I like my water steamy, even though they say, oh, it's not good for your skin and blah, blah, blah. Well, I like that. And it wasn't doing that anymore. So we had a problem. So I called the water company to check if there had been any unusual spike in my water usage. And sure enough, they confirmed that my water had been running continuously for about 24 hours. Are you kidding me? With all of this inflation going on, now I have an additional cost added to my water bill. This is not going to work. So I asked if they had any plumbers that they could recommend, and they did. And the plumber informed me when I got in hold of him that likely it was my hot water line. Okay, duh. Anyway, he suggested, lift the valve and then on the water tank, and voila, the sound stopped until he could get to me. Right. So it took the plumber. And then when the plumber came here, he didn't feel confident in identifying the exact leak. So he recommended a leak detector, right? He thought maybe in the bathroom, I'm not quite sure. You got to, they have the special device that can listen to it. Perfect. No problem. Call the leak detector. He comes out of the home and determines, he says, it's over here in the dining room in front of a closet. He X marks the spot. The plumber comes out. The plumber is like, it's not there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? What are you talking about? He says, water always reveals itself, and there's no water here on this floor. And he was very concerned or hesitant in breaking the floor unnecessarily. So we contacted the leak detector. The leak detector is like, I'm confident, I know the area, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Plumber goes, boop, 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 chisels a little bit of hole in the floor, and as he said, dries a bone. The slab and the dirt dry. Okay? And so, boom, the leak detector has to come back out. So the leak detector comes back out. He brings another person with him. They have all this fancy smashy equipment, all this stuff, right? And they said, okay, definitely it's in the laundry room. Guarantee. Marks the spot, tells me it's near the hose that, goes into the wall where from the washing machine, when the washing machine discharges the water. Okay. So the plumber comes back out. Plumber looks at it. Plumber says, now, mind you, I want you to keep in mind, and I mean, the leak detector was at the house about an hour and a half. Okay. And keep in mind that during this ordeal, I had no hot water. And when hot water was required, the valve had to be put down and then you had to put it back up. So, that was a total inconvenience in itself, right? That's truly an understatement. Anyway, the plumber comes back out and says, it's not there. He said we would see water damage in the wall, right? Because there's nothing but sheetrock there anyway. So that's what he said. So he said, you know what? Let me pull out this washing machine. They pull it out. They start looking and examining, and sure enough, they see dampness in the lowest part of the wall that connects to the floor. And that's where the leak was. They started jackhammering, and there it was, a pinhole in a copper pipe. Now just imagine if the plumber would have taken the word of the fancy equipment over his knowledge, and we would have had an even worse situation, right? So the hole in the wall we would have had, and I would have to replace the hole in the wall and a hole in the floor ultimately, because that's where the actual location of it was. But anyway, but the thing that got me was to add insult to injury. When the leak detective was on his way out after the second time, he says to me, "I don't know how you lasted this long without that hot water." Is he killing me? Really? Did he really just say that to me? Ooh, people just don't know what to say. If he would have detected the right spot from the beginning, we would not be here, right? And after 2 snowstorms, scheduling conflicts, a month and a half later, the work was done. Now, during this time, keep in mind, showers were shorter, hair washing was minimal, no dishwashing, everything was just on the quick. And when that water issue was actually fixed, I'm telling you, it was like reuniting with a long-lost friend. I'm telling you, going to kiss it like, oh my goodness. I'm telling you, I learned a valuable lesson. Actually, I learned valuable lessons, plural. They were totally out of my control. And as we close out today's journey through the lessons learned when the water runs dry, remember that gratitude, patience, resilience, awareness, are all essential tools to carry with us. So until next time, remember, when we stand tall in our confidence, because when we know, we empower ourselves to face any challenge that comes our way. Stay curious, stay resilient, and find beauty in every situation. Be well, my friends. Be well. And if you enjoyed this episode, join us next week for another insightful conversation. I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments and reflect on your own experiences. Remember, if you found value in our discussions or this discussion, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon to be notified when a new episode drops on YouTube. Take care.